Let me get Zach.
No. This ain't none of Zach's business, okay?
Okay, it's just me and you.
Next Wednesday.
I look in the mirror and I see a stranger. You scaring me. Are you in danger?
I cannot explain right now. I gotta go.
Zach! Zach!
Yeah, it feels like there's a wide range of emotions that the fan base is dealing with concerning Karen calling Fatima out of all people in the middle of the night from wherever she's currently stationed at, if you will. We know that it must be someplace relatively safe, considering that she is seemingly using a cell phone that somebody has allowed her to use for this call. And I don't know. I've been hearing all sorts of things like, oh, Karen's only calling Fatima to yet again cause strife. You know, basically showcasing that she doesn't know how to exist without having some sort of tether. It's like, you know what? If I can't tether myself to Zach, the next best thing is to kind of link myself to his woman. So I'm going to call her instead of any of my friends in order to, you know, vent and whatever and try to get, you know, on her good side. But to me, I did read an interesting tweet or Instagram post, I forgot which one, but it says something to the effect of, I bet Karen called Fatima because she's like a neutral party, given the fact that while they might not be close, they are relatively cordial at this point in time. And Fatima was there when the chips were down, when her water broke. I mean, yeah, it was a matter of circumstance where there was no choice, but I feel like, look, I mean, this is Karen, so her emotions can go right back to vindictive and toxic, but despite everything Fatima has done, not necessarily for Karen, but for dang near every other one of her friends and whatnot up until this point in the show, I guess you could possibly say that Fatima being there for Karen in her her greatest time of need, maybe that solidified to Karen that Fatima is a real one. I know it sounds ridiculous. It's like, dang, after 8 seasons? Yeah, I know. But this is Karen we're talking about here. And the post went on to say, because unlike everyone else, Fatima isn't coddling Karen. So similar to the rare instances when Karen would call upon Danny or even show up at her house or apartment to get advice. Usually Karen, whenever she wants advice from Danny specifically, she'll either go to her alone without her backup choir, Andy and Sabrina, who will just coddle her and tell her everything she wants to hear and prevent Danny from saying the truth. But then there are moments where, like, when Karen was at the salon saying, I'm so confused with the other women there. And when Danny was told to hush up, Karen was like, no, let Danny tell the truth. I want to hear what she has to say. And I think that maybe that's what Karen is doing right now, calling Fatima, knowing she's a real one. But the most telling line to me that has me you know how we're questioning whether or not Gary is really leaving Atlanta like he claims to be with his kids? Because he's done this song and dance before where he's told Andy he's leaving, all in a way to manipulate her into saying, please stay. I'm wondering Karen's motive here, because the moment Fatima was like, Karen, okay, let me tell Zach. No. This is none of Zach's business. Don't tell him. That has me going, because you call Fatima in the middle of the night. See, Karen doesn't know Zach is involved with this because he's currently, you know, at her apartment with everybody else. She doesn't know that. So I'm just wondering, you call Fatima in the middle of the night. Do you expect Zach not to be there? Like, what if Karen doesn't know okay, so we know Fatima was laying in bed, all right? So when she gets on the phone going, Karen, is that you? Karen wouldn't know if Zach was right beside her in bed, and Zach could have been like, wait, is that Karen? Give me the phone. Karen? So it really it kind of plants the seeds in my mind like, okay, is Karen trying to manipulate Fatima by saying, hey, you know, I left because of X, Y, and Z, but don't tell Zach, it's none of his business. Because maybe she doesn't think of Fatima as a real one, and it's like, oh yeah, she's a chatterbox like the other girls, so if I tell her something, she's going to tell it to Zach. So instead of calling Zach directly, it's more like, I'm going to call Fatima. Fatima will relay the information to Zach, and if Zach comes looking for me, then that's a sign that he still cares. I know this sounds like a weird comparison, but if you are a fan of Beyond the Gates, which, side note, if you are a fan, go over to my other channel, My Kind of Entertainment. There is a link in the description box. I review the show over there. Go. Seriously. I'm trying to build that channel up. Go check it out. The character of Allison. She was a character introduced that Chelsea got involved with via threesomes with Allison and her husband. And it got to the point where Chelsea fell for Allison, and it's like, hey, instead of threesomes, how about me and you just kind of break apart and do our own thing? Allison turned her down, like, no, I can't betray my husband. So then, after a quote-unquote heartbreak period of time, Chelsea found feelings for another woman named Madison, and then Allison started popping up out of nowhere, and she turned out to be a super fan crazed stalker who ended up abducting Chelsea. And she wrote like fan fiction and all sorts of crap. Essentially, Chelsea needed to follow the script that was going on in Allison's mind, where fans were like, wait a minute, if Allison was so into Chelsea, why didn't she just get Chelsea when Chelsea wanted her to, you know, just be the two of them? No, Chelsea wasn't following the non-existent script. It had to be Chelsea pining after Allison as opposed to the other way around. But when Chelsea found somebody else, that's when Allison started going psycho. And I feel like the same rules are maybe applying here. I would like this not to be the case, but it just feels like maybe Karen is doing this as a test. You know, what is she saying in the trailer? I look in the mirror and I don't know, I don't recognize who I'm seeing, or something like, or actually, you know what? I got my notebook right here. Let me check it out. Oh yeah, while I'm searching for the notes from the trailer breakdown, do yourself a favor, and me too, if you made it this far in the video, please take a moment to hit like and subscribe. Follow me on social media, links are in the description, as well as that link to my other channel, My Kind of Entertainment, so you can check out my Beyond the Gates content, and hit the notification bell and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. I can't explain right now, I gotta go. And then she's like, it feels like the whole world is closing in around me. All right, there we go. So I feel like maybe Karen is unable to admit that this is Zach related, because she's like grasping for straws, like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I da? But it's like, well, we kind of know you just can't exist without chaos and whatnot. And even though we don't know everything there is to know about Aaron, him and Faith represent stability, which is something none of these women seem to know how to handle when they have it, whether it be Danny with Preston, Sabrina with anybody. I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know, but yeah, I just feel like one or two things could be happening here. Karen could be calling Fatima because she knows she's a neutral party and a real one, maybe just a call to say, hey, you know what, I'm okay. But it just feels weird to say this isn't Zach's business, but you're calling Fatima. And like I said before, you wouldn't know if Zach was in the same room. This is just weird on so many levels. Like, I don't really see, well, then again, Karen is quote unquote not in her right mind, I guess. So the logic here is just not this is okay. I don't want to be too harsh because I don't know the whole game plan here. You know, next week maybe we'll get more insight. But as it stands, Karen calling Fatima in the middle of the night, a pregnant woman, mind you, so maybe she'd wager Fatima's in bed right now. You're calling a pregnant woman in the middle of the night under the guise of don't tell Zach, and Zach could be laying right there beside her and you wouldn't know it. And this is reaching the same levels of what were the writers thinking as Andy being told from the seasoned partner Benson not to pursue this case against Dr. Cruz. because if you do, then maybe this firm isn't the right place for you. Yet Andy decides, I'm still going to do it anyway, Fatima. We're going to do it discreetly. What's going to happen if you do file this case or lawsuit and it reaches Dr. Cruz's desk, and knowing that Hayden is his tax attorney and he plays golf with Benson, obviously if a case is thrown in front of him, everybody's going to know you're the one who did it. Make it make sense. All right, well, then again, like I said, this could just be Karen's whole thing about a test to see if Zach still wants her. I hope that is not the case, because that undoes the otherwise mostly good scene of the episode Cutting Ties, where it truly felt like Zach and Karen had a clean break. Like, let's just move on from all this nonsense. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I did a separate video too about what's going to happen if Andy finds out Karen called Fatima instead of her best friend. Is this going to be yet again another reason for Andy to have some hatred towards Fatima, even though she'll disguise it as there's nothing going on? Fatima's just acting weird. Good grief. All right, well, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.